So this is the new studio.
Yeah, the garage. That's what I'm looking at.
Yep. So if anything, you can always say, well, James really loves doing this show. He loves doing this stuff. He's willing to do it from his garage.
Yeah, that's true, man. You're right. That's a good little what do you call it, alibi or whatever you call that.
In fact, I
How's it?
texted Jill and said, "Hey, I'm doing it from the garage." She sent me back one word text, "Okay." Sure, she's going to say something about this later on today.
Translated as I don't care. Let me sleep.
That or it doesn't surprise me.
Oh man. You look good, man. You look like you got a fresh haircut.
I, yeah, I got it 2, 3 weeks ago, maybe.
2, 3 weeks. Oh man, you must have had a buzz cut then.
Oh yeah, I shaved it all off. Well, not buzz.
Okay.
Well, just had the ears trimmed back a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what's up, man. Looks good, man. You look militant.
militant. Oh, oh boy.
Isn't
Well,
that
as
what
long
you
as
want to look like when you're going into your business transactions? You want to look
yeah,
militant.
sure, sure. He looks so serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I
I don't
open
know
my
if I.
mouth, and they're
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, well, yeah, he's not
Then
that
they're
serious."
totally just disarmed after you
Yeah.
open your mouth. Like, okay, cool.
Well, just looking at me, most people could be very, well, not could be, maybe could assume that I don't speak English very well. In fact, I've done that a few times just to mess with
Ah.
people, you know.
Oh, that's funny. Give me t show me real quick what you might do.
No speak English very well. Luego, battle, battle,
Oh, wow, bro.
hungry, hungry, McDonald, McDonald's,
Oh
Big
man.
Mac. Big Mac. You show me Big Mac?
Bro, that's so convincing, man. That's good, man.
Well,
Wow.
years ago, and if Brian was here, he would attest to this very strongly. So this is, you know, early mid 90s. He
Mhm.
called the house phone one time, 334-286-8983. And I picked up the phone. And so there's only going to be three people at the house, dad, mom, or me. No cell phones. So you have no idea who picked up the phone. So I pick up the phone. He's like, uh, hey, is Jimmy there? Doesn't know who picked up the phone. So I say back, I've got the phone. I'm like, Jimmy no here. So Brian's like befuddled because he's met my mom plenty of times and he knows he knows like she speaks English, but
Yeah.
he what he doesn't know is like English is like a second language to her. It's a strong second language. So she
Uh,
knows it. She just, she speaks with an
yeah.
Asian accent. So he's like, Mrs. Hawk, I I'm just calling to see if Jimmy's there. I mean, I don't is it and then I'm just still sitting there like, Jimmy no here. I'm like, but he told me to call around this time. And then I was like, oh man, it's me. I'm just messing with you.
Man, what did he say
Oh, he
after
laughed.
that?
He laughed.
Oh man.
Anyway, he'd bring up that joke. Like if he was here now, he would laugh, die out laughing.
Wow.
And this is
Wow.
also the same friend that I accidentally shoved a paintbrush up his nose.
Okay. I mean, you
Yeah.
said shove. I was hoping it wasn't another place, so
Yeah,
I got
well,
you.
either way, it did some serious damage. And we're still friends to this day. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. How yeah, I'm just thinking like how far that brush went. I can only imagine.
No, well, it makes me uncomfortable just talking about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Oh
Not
man.
not one of my finer moments in life.
No, no. We gotta we anyway, yeah,
We were
we
messing
gotta
around and stuff, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, man.
I don't know. It's kid stuff.
Kid stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kid stuff that yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
digress.
I digress. I digress. Yeah. You know.
Uh, in other news, yeah,
Yes.
man.
He's forgiven me. I still apologetic about it. So,
I
that's what
got you.
matters.
I got you. That's what
Well, refresh
matters.
coaching. That sounds wonderful, man.
Wow. What a segue, man. Yeah, man. I guess since you put it out there, refresh coaching. Basically, we help people get more done and minimize stress. Been going now since January 20th, which is not that long, but
Wow.
I feel like, we've definitely made a lot of progress since then. And just a little background, as you know, my wife and I have been doing the trainings, workshops for years, and it was just
Branding it
January
properly.
20th. You say what? Yeah.
Branding it properly, I guess.
Well, we've been doing the workshops. That wasn't really we weren't doing much branding and marketing. It was
Right.
just we would do them when the opportunity arose. But we never really had considered coaching. So the coaching is
Hmm.
the one-on-one we did just had not considered that side of things until
Hmm.
I believe the Lord gave told me that to go for it. January 20th, posted the first post about it on Facebook, and since then, have been having clients, man. And
Really?
yeah, man. So
How many
yeah.
clients so far?
Well, to put it in perspective, I have about 4 to 5, I'll say 3 to 4 on average new every week, and 1 to 2, or maybe 2 to 3 recurring. So we're definitely growing.
Right.
Definitely
That's
growing,
cool. Are
man.
these reoccurring customers? Like once, well,
How
if
the
you don't want to
process?
talk,
Yeah.
if you don't want to talk about the process,
I
it's
would
fine.
love to talk about the process.
Okay, because from with my background and dibble dabble in business, I always like hearing people's like kind of their business model, what they think about it, and
Yeah.
how their thought process is.
Oh, well. So basically, how ours works is this. Everybody that comes to us right now does an initial coaching session and follow up. So initial
Hmm.
coaching session is 75 minutes. Follow up typically takes place 10 to 14 days later,
Hmm.
and it's 40 up to 45 minutes. Most of the time, we don't stay on that long. But that initial coaching session, that's down to a science, man. For whatever
Really?
reason, it takes 75 minutes.
Okay.
We hit it almost on the head every time. So, because there's certain things that we do in that session. So after that, the initial and the follow-up, we have several monthly coaching options. We have one um, where you get one session a month that's 60 minutes, and that's, you can do that on a recurring basis, sign up for that subscription. We got another one where it's bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks bi-monthly, whichever one you want to call it, but every 2 weeks you get a 45-minute session. Then we've got one where it's every week and it's a 30-minute session every week. So it really just depends on the individual's preference. And from the initial coaching session and the follow-up, most individuals get a feel for what they want, how
Hmm.
frequently they want to meet. And the beautiful
Hmm.
thing is you can switch, your plan anytime.
Yeah. You can turn it off
Anytime you,
too. You
yeah,
can
turn it
sometimes.
off, cancel it. switch it, take a break.
Right.
Um, but
We.
man, I've been learning a lot. A lot of the only thing that was set when I first started was the initial coaching because I didn't know, and I didn't know even how much time that was gonna be. But we figured that out after a while
Hmm.
that okay, that's right at 75 minutes. So we
Hmm.
got that. And then after that I started realizing the follow-up because what I was doing was I wanted to follow up with people anyway,
Hmm.
and then I started realizing well, the follow-up gives individuals time to implement, and then we come together and we talk about what worked, what didn't work, and then that really kind of enhances them moving forward. Because one of the things because basically in this the initial coaching session we do is we give a quick assessment that helps us identify where this individual should start in the process. So it's basically three aspects that it points to. It either tells us, okay, they need more focus right now. And again, this evolves for each individual. We all are constantly changing because our lives are constantly changing. So it's what it is right then. So it either tells us they need more focus, they need more balance, or they're pretty good. They got things down, but they need to optimize. So just improve because
Hmm.
they pretty focused and balanced. And typically, what's interesting, we see a pattern. Those that get where the results come back optimization, typically those are like business owners, people who are very established in their fields, but they still have room to optimize. So we end up helping them just do things at more efficiently and bring balance. So whereas their business has been working, maybe they had some areas that they've known they need to improve in and just haven't gotten to do that or been able to do that. And we'll help them with those areas. But that assessment tells us where to start, kind of walk through the process with each person. And so what they come out with that initial session is with basically a streamlined weekly plan. So we totally reordered their time and strategies for what they're already doing. And so then over those 10 to 14 days leading up to the next session, they're trying to implement these things. And what I love about it is when they come back to me, they say most of the time they say, well, we put this here, but I realized that. And it's funny because they're kind of apologetic, almost like, well, I know you said this, but I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. We put a plan in place, and I helped them understand. We put a plan in place that's a baseline. The plan is meant to be modified, but it gives you a structure to work from. And so when I tell them that, then they get, oh, okay. And so yeah, man, that's how that goes, man. That initial and that follow-up. So. Yeah, more or less.
Well, I tell you, it took everything in my power not to interject or say anything because the second, you know how my mind works.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that while I'm listening to you and absorbing everything you're saying, like ideas just start popping in my mind, thoughts start popping in my mind. They start going all over the place. Like for example, with this setup, this I'm not sure how temporary or permanent this is going to be. I was just thinking to myself, you know, the office is being turned into mom's room. I'm gonna have to beg, borrow, steal a way to keep doing stuff, doing this. And then it was just like, okay, well, Lord, I think you gave me an idea. So if I back out both cars out of the garage, lay out the table, adjust the lighting a little bit, I think this could be everything. This could work. I could keep doing stuff out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Necessity is the mother of invention. Isn't that a quote? Isn't
Right.
that?
Yep, that
Yeah.
is. Yes,
So
sir.
one thing that I thought would be kind of cool. So there's this anime I'm watching called Trillion Game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is a great anime about business, really. It talks about business fundamentals. They talk about business vocabulary and lexicon. But in this, there's this guy that's a computer genius, other guy who's basically a hustler. And they go and they land this very big client that sells flowers. So how they get them to land the client, they create this quote unquote AI website. So
Hmm.
they create this AI that takes their like listens to the customer's orders and they're typing it in and it talks to them and stuff. But the AI is really a human person. It's not really an AI. But
Mm.
what if what if you could just record it once or just record a few sessions, integrate some AI into it, have your image there. It's still your image, still you, but it's you, but it's the AI and it's doing that piece of, that way it takes
Hmm.
it cuts back down the manpower piece of it, and
Yeah.
kind of drills it down. And then now it's like, well, that's probably going to happen at some point. But
Yeah.
the what I like about what you're doing is that over all the years of biddy, of consulting, of refresh, refocus, rebuild, I don't know if you've realized this, but you've built up this lexicon of words that you use for like, you know what I'm saying? This
Uh,
things. And so I still remember all these different pieces that you use. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so he's probably found a way to integrate the refresh, refocus, rebuild into the refresh academy because it's refresh academy. So he's found a way to
ex
use these pieces and put
that
them in together. So this is how he can probably connect this to this and bring this in.
that's exactly what's bro. Man, God just gives you wisdom, and then
He
that's
gives me a
really
good
good that you
memory.
connect that. Yeah, so refresh coaching now is like you said, is basically its own business growing that uses the
Yes.
refresh, refocus, rebuild framework, which keep in mind, refresh, refocus, rebuild is in the process of being trademarked. That's already being reviewed by
Yes.
attorneys, being trademarked because that
Yes.
is the brand that we want to be able to use
Yes.
because we actually want to even be able to certify people
Right.
to be a coach, and
Oh,
it's going to be under it's
wow.
always the refresh, refocus, rebuild
Yes.
framework. So that's going to protect us, protect that process.
And also too, the word itself, refresh, it's
Yeah.
we all need it,
Yeah.
We're all either burnt out or we're focused on one thing for too long.
Hmm.
So fresh is just that. It's fresh, it's clean, it's and then refresh, you're worn out, you're tired. I got home last night. I've stretched out on that box spring and mattress that is in our living room right now because furniture is being delivered today, and my whole system shut down. Like Bishop was climbing all over the top of me, Evie was jumping all over the top of me, and I had no power. I was just done. I was just doing everything I can to keep Bishop from falling off the bed, hitting the floor. But other than that, I was just laid out like this, just
Yeah.
but have that refresh, be like,
Refresh.
man,
Yeah. That's good. That's good, man.
we need it
Yeah,
mentally, spiritually, physically,
we need it,
and
man.
emotionally.
You know, and this, to be honest, since you said that, I'll go back some years, 2000, 2012, around the time when we were still roommates. The Lord began to give me some things. He began to give me some things for, like, I started having a passion for creating processes that had to do with money. Funny, but money and time. And so I was working
Mhm.
on a spreadsheet. I think I started working on something then specifically. It was both, but I remember, for the sake of what we're talking about, I started working on something with time and just helping people organize their time. So this is 2012. So 2013, I just remember I had moved into a townhome. I remember walking into my townhome tired one day and just thinking like, Lord, there's gotta be a better way. Like that. And I started working on something then, and it's just amazing to me that the things that I was thinking about now it's funny because when God gives us stuff, it's real, it's raw, but and we don't even think necessarily that it's part of something bigger. But He had
Right.
planted a seed in me then that has grown into what Refresh, Refocus, Rebuild is
Yeah.
now.
Or even if you want to get really metaphysical and deeper, it's always been what it's been. It's just been
Mm,
waiting for you to be to
yeah,
develop it.
yeah.
You know,
Wow.
you have to be at the place where you're ready for it. You know, like
Right,
the plant's already a fruit. It just needs
right.
you to be ready
Yeah,
for it, to pull it
yeah,
out of the ground.
yeah.
Or a vegetable. Vegetable.
That's
I
one.
think it's vegetable, isn't it? Yeah,
Oh
vegetables
yeah,
out of the
yeah.
ground. Yeah, yeah, not fruit.
Sweet potato, sweet
Or
potato.
pull off the tree, pull off the tree,
Mm,
pull off the tree.
there we go. Fruit.
Wapner at 9. Wapner at 9.
Oh man. But yeah, man. So
How are you feeling though?
man, I'm great because for one thing,
Do you feel
this
fulfilled?
yeah, it's nice, man. I think you mentioned manpower, what it takes to do this earlier. I would say that's the only thing that I've been having to manage because it is
Yes.
tiresome. But again, as I mentioned, uh our vision is actually for certifying coaches. And I know right now I'm just focused on getting the business out off the
Yep.
ground and really growing.
Yep.
But at some point, I'll be able to do that. And even some clients, I know some of them will be interested, and I just haven't presented it yet, but they'll be
Right.
interested. And then I'll start. I pretty much have. I've been learning what I want to do to take them through the process to
Right.
kind of can certify them to do something similar, to get a similar product. But yeah, so that's been that part of it, but it still has been so fulfilling. Of course, working with clients has been great, but the fulfillment has been the flexibility I have had to
Yes.
really be able to spend time with my kids like I want to.
Yes. Yes.
Really had that emotional and mental capacity to do that, and to, if my mother-in-law, just anybody, well,
If you need to
uh,
do
need
something,
to
you
do
can do it
something,
and you're
I
not
can do
bound
it.
down by a
Yeah,
job.
I can
And
do it.
say,
Hey,
go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, and one of the things that I work with my clients on, I'll tell you, this is really good for, it can work for anybody, but it's really good for clients that don't have uh set schedules. This, what I'm about to say, I'm saying this particular point is really good for those clients. Not is just good for those, but I have them log their time, and I mean it's a basic concept. You're familiar with it. A lot of people don't do it necessarily,
Absolutely not.
but we'll have this schedule, and that's great, but life interrupts. That's just how it is. And so I have them set a certain amount of time a week that they need to focus on each particular duty. And so I say, hey, life is going to interrupt if you're not able to hit it when you said you were going to do it. You need to be logging this time so your mind can rest and you know where you are throughout your week. Okay, I know I need to spend 10 hours on this. So it's closer than anyway. I only got two, and I know I need this in order to create. And that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned in business and life and school, no matter what. There are things that if you just hit that quota, you're going to produce a certain result. It's just like a formula. It's just a principle. And so I make sure they do that. And then if they can do that, that takes a lot of stress off too. That's one way to take some
Mm,
stress off. Because none of that folks like, oh, I didn't get to do that. Well, I know I've spent this much time, so okay, I just need to make up my time. And it can help.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So, Microsoft Outlook, uh, Microsoft products, they have a feature in there for focus. And Leo, my friend, told me when I was going to get into the sales side of things, it's like, hey, I block off Mondays to make calls and stuff like that. But what you're saying is not just block off that time, but even if, which is going to happen, you don't make that time, just log what you have done and say, hey, I've got 30 more minutes I need to catch back up on, and then just reassess it,
Yep.
move it to a different position, and say, okay, boom, need to devote 30 more minutes to this particular task. And for business people, if they're thinking about it, the best way to get more business is to make the time to prospect more. So
Exactly.
even if you prospect for you set a block of time, you analyze the time as I am most effective and my brain works best if I'm
Hmm.
allocating about 2 hours.
Yep.
Well, you trim it down. It's like, okay, well, 2 hours is too long. I'm gonna trim it down to one. So one. So you set the time slot as 10 a.m. on a Tuesday
There
or
you go.
weekdays at 10 a.m. So you do that, somebody walks in the door. So then they have to have a meeting right there. So you lose that 10 a.m. time slot, but then you can just say, okay, well, I didn't do that for myself. Then let me see, I need to maybe do it later today, Tuesday, or
Hmm.
maybe just shift it all the way over to
Shipped
Wednesday.
it right, right,
Okay.
bro. Uh, refresh coach,
No, yeah.
refresh coach,
Yeah.
side hustle. Hey,
Side.
side
So,
hustle.
and
Just
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that because I this idea popped in my mind because I don't know how this life coach and all that stuff works.
hmm
So I when I think of life coach, I automatically think of somebody like John Maxwell, maybe
hmm
like a Grant Cardone or
hmm
whatever, any type of life coach. So what you're saying is that you're going to have them certify as refreshed coaches. So from a business model aspect, and I'm just thinking outside of my mind
hmm
myself, does that mean that they have to pay you back some type of certification fee to be a coach underneath you,
Yes, they would pay
like a
the
percentage of their
refresh.
sales?
Well, no, actually the model that I have right now, um, and I'm still working on exactly how much, but they would just be paying Refresh Folks Rebuild to get that license,
So, okay.
to be certified. As far as what I
Well,
think I want
access
to
to
do,
tools to that you
yes.
have.
So
Yes.
what I
Yes.
think I what I where I am right now with that is they would not have to pay any royalties or anything like that. Basically,
Hmm.
with the license that we would provide, they just be able to coach under the heading. And so where our benefit
Hmm.
is they're just continuing to spread, of course, the awareness of Refresh, and we still sell planners, workbooks, all
Hmm.
those different things that the
Oh,
coaches
gotcha. The
would use as
materials, the
well.
tools. Right.
Materials, right,
So,
right.
so let me present this idea. What if over time, as it gets bigger and bigger, you start creating this, you don't have to, but it's just me thinking
Mhm.
this within this organization, a another organization, same organization, but it's like they have access to things that are like even like ultra secret elite type
Mhm.
stuff, and they have
Mhm.
like a percentage of gross revenues go towards that, like 1%
Mm.
or 2%, a very low percentage, very low
Mhm.
percentage. But with that percentage that goes into that to this category, this caste system, this sensei level master elite dojo class, and you have me saying, "Oh, welcome to the dojo. I teach you ultra secret technique, Dim-mak. What's a
Yeah.
Dim-mak?
So,
Death touch."
so what's funny though is I can definitely see kind of an elite program evolving over time for business executives because what's
Mhm.
happening is again, to be honest, like my clients right now, a lot of, believe it or not, I work with everything from I work with quite a bit of retirees or those
Yes,
planning for retirement. But
yes,
my major ones where it's just like I've got a need are the folks that have multiple businesses that
yes,
manage people, that
yes,
kind of thing. And
yes.
so I'm collecting data, but I definitely can see because they also a lot of them will be able to afford some type of elite
Extra
coaching, you know.
tier.
And when you're
Yeah.
saying, hey, you'll double your whatever over time when we can begin to get that model, that data back, because right now we're getting great feedback from the ones we work with. They're saying, man, I'm able to manage my people better, I've got less stress. This is, but eventually we'll be able to say these are the results. They're, increasing income end over end by doing this. So
So
I
from a
definitely see that.
database perspective, do you have it segmented out to, okay, business owners, within the business owners, this business has a gross revenue of 1 million, this business has a gross million of 5 million, see, because with your database you could have like multiple categories, and within those categories multiple subcategories.
Hmm.
Within those multiple subcategories you can have something analyzing it, saying,
Yeah.
okay, well, this target market I'm having the most good response from, but based off of the numbers of just the market penetration that I'm having within Montgomery, Alabama, this is the constant population concentration of this type of market. So as I expand into this market,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and from a licensing
That's it.
perspective, I'm thinking that because your clients, even though they're coming from all over the place, the tax implications of they're doing business through you, that you're located in Alabama, so it's Alabama taxes you'd be paying regardless if you get clients from all over the world.
Right.
So that should be covered from that aspect of it. Um,
I do think like you said, like something like that in the future. I do think, we can, that would be something we do, especially when we get to the point of forming that. I think right
mhm,
now
mhm.
one of the most interesting observations I've had is like I've worked with, of course, men and women, but
Yeah.
I've always thought, okay, with this, women were naturally gonna be most of my clients, because I think, with men sometimes we just, we can need help and not ever get help. That's just us.
And I think
So
that's kind of changed over time
what
because you got to think about the newer generations and technologies and things. People are more open-minded than they used to be.
Right. So to that point is to my point with that is I was thinking that, but right now most of my clients have been men.
Mm, mm,
But I also attribute that to me being a man. And here's one thing I've learned already about coaching. A lot of times your clientele will take the form of whoever you are, right?
mhm,
So if you're a business person, you're going to naturally have a pitch and gravitate, for folks to gravitate to you that relate to your pitch, where you come from. And so that's going to be the beautiful thing too about licensing
mm,
licensing individuals, because right now this is what I realize, in business we try to find that target market and narrow it down. So I had been doing that and I kept realizing, like, every time somebody because it was like, okay, business owners. Wow, that's what it is. That's my focal point. But then when the retirees came, it was like, no, they needed just as much. And then it was artists, it was creatives, and like, then wait, they need. And that's when I realized, I said, okay, with this coaching thing, it's going to be, it's more so who who you are, because it's just that what we have is just that needed,
mm.
that you really can't narrow it down. What narrows it down is your target based on who you
Right.
are. And so my target are 35, basically 35 to 65-year olds. That's what I've known, because that's been my range, men, which
Mhm.
I'll work with women, but that's my target.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ultimately, as it's growing, the ultimate target market is human beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
As it's
Because
growing,
this
as we're getting coaches,
it,
right?
it tears down
Yeah.
to the kid level because it's your baseline package is refresh, refocus, rebuild, which is
Hmm.
at its core, it's for everybody.
Right.
So the secret to having a business that has $1 trillion market cap is the more people it helps, the more people buy it.
Right.
So if you have a billion people on the earth and let's say it's 8 billion people and just one, no, and each person gives you $1, that's $8 billion.
Hmm.
So that's all it is. So you just put a zero behind it, and that's $80 billion. Put another zero behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as you reach more and more people, and again, as long as your product is reaching human beings, then it reaches generationally human beings
Yeah. Yeah.
forever. It
Right.
exists infinitely because it's an infinite game.
It's infinite.
So
Right.
it so as long as you're thinking that your product, which is ultimately metaphysical in a certain way, it will last. It will outlast you, and that's the goal of any business is that it's going to ultimately outlast you. That you want to have the Derek Lovett Museum of Fine Arts or something like that. That's that somebody did something that was so memorable that it outlasted their lifetime. Now, people may come back and say, well, that Derek was a blah, 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 blah. With that, and then it's like, to which, if I was still alive, I'd be sitting there with my little cane. True, he was a bad man, but he was a good man too.
That's funny, man. That's funny. That's funny.
You like that callback? I mean, I've been calling back to that thing. I love
Oh
comedy so
man.
much, man. I know like the inside jargon now. So I was like,
Yeah.
so I sit there and I watch people do their bits and stuff, and I'm like, man, I know all the like the lingo. I'm not an expert at this stuff, but I like this. Like, look at that callback. Look how he called that thing back.
Oh man. But yeah, man. So, I could go on and on about
I
this for
know.
fish
I'm sorry I
coaches. So,
made you jump straight into business like that, man. It's
oh, it's
just like
okay,
I
man.
just put it all out there on the
You,
street, just like
you,
he's James. You just like I didn't know what it's early in the morning. I don't want to talk about refresh
I
coaching.
didn't mind. I just didn't expect it so early. Like if we were gonna talk about it, it was just like boom.
Well, I think that what really caught my eye about everything was the social media presence, the testimonials, and you always, 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 always get testimonials.
Yeah.
Especially with the social media influence, because what I noticed when I integrated uh, experience into LinkedIn and the Facebook page. What I love about the technologies we have now, it just integrates everything so easier. So like
Yeah.
somebody could leave a review on experience or Facebook or I guess Instagram too, and it'll sync it and pull it all together. So it creates impressions
Mm,
and I can see it on the back end, like, oh, cool. All these people
wow.
looked at this little review of this thing. And so from a compliance standpoint, it's been improved.
Mm,
And so I'm basically test piloting the integration of
yeah.
this software thing.
I
I'll send it to you.
I was about to say, yeah, I want to
You're
know.
like, what in the world are you
I
talking about?
I didn't know if you could disclose it on
Well,
over
it's called experience.com.
experience.com.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
have you haven't even seen this, but you could probably integrate this into your business
Well,
and
that's
then
yeah.
tie it in with your LinkedIn and stuff, and it creates impressions. So you've already got a base of followers, and yeah, it's very easy to set up, and I'm sending it to you right now.
Yeah, please trust me. When you were talking about it, I'm like, that sounds
Impressions. He's
great.
talking about
Yeah.
social media. What is he
Yeah,
talking about?
like yeah. I'm like, can I enhance what I'm doing? That would be great.
Yeah, you could probably enhance what you're doing using this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Click,
Experience.com. I see it.
yeah, click on that, and then you'll see now these testimonials.
Okay,
or
5 stars. Yeah, all right,
yeah.
got them across the
Well,
board.
okay, yeah, yeah. But yes, of course. I love their reviews are very, very important to me. And but But instead of having to send them to a Facebook page, I can send them to this. They can leave a review. And what happens is it integrates into the Facebook page and it integrates into LinkedIn because I've connected all the different social media profiles.
That's
But
cool.
if they leave a review on the Facebook page, it integrates because it's integrated into the experience, it goes into the LinkedIn. See, it's all
Hmm. I like that. So it actually shows up on both. Like if they
yes.
do,
It may take a
that's
couple
cool.
hours to refresh it.
Hmm.
It may take a couple hours to refresh it.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, that would be great, man, because that's what I mainly use. I use
Nothing on
Facebook
that?
and LinkedIn. Yeah, I use Facebook and LinkedIn. You know, people keep telling me though I need to use my Instagram a little bit more. So
Yes.
I'm
We're
planning
very,
on doing
yes.
more.
Humans are very visual.
Yeah,
It just catches their eye. Use Reels, use TikTok, use Instagram, use the things that are visually appealing. And since you already have this acting comedy background, you've got content that you can easily integrate in and it'll catch, just
right.
from my opinion. So the other aspect that I think of when I think about your business is I think of okay, so what markers does he have in place to track himself at a minimum benchmark quarterly? You know, by March, where how is his overall revenue looking? It's like, okay, so ideally it's gonna bend. It's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, it's
Right.
gonna go up, gonna
Right.
go down. So what I would do instead of trying to go back and analyze how you've done for the past 3 or 4 years of your businesses, I would focus down and drill down to, okay, this refresh coaching, this is the one that I'm going to really intentionally like treat it like this is what I've been working towards. This is the
Right.
one I'm going to work on. And so I'm going to track it intentionally this
Mhm.
year. And then every other sub business that you've had over this time, see, this is going to be your pilot business, really,
Right.
for intentional tracking. And so that way, once you got that model down, you can go in and really integrate it into the refresh, focus, rebuild business, the MC merchandising, any of these other businesses that you have. And so, because you've got your reps in, as far as staying in the process, you can easily duplicate it and integrate it in. And so ultimately what ends up happening
Oh
is
yeah.
over time, the Derek Lovett ministry will be that's what's been floating underneath it all,
Yeah. Yeah.
existing spiritually, the ministry that
Right.
you've been
Exactly.
doing throughout the whole time since
Yeah.
the day you were born.
Right.
So it just flows and breathes and naturally exists in perpetuity for your children's children.
Amen. Amen. Bro, I love what I heard I I heard what you did even before you mentioned stay in the process. I heard the other ones you got in there, man. That was really good.
And then
That
there's
was really good.
Biddy
All of
laying around
those.
in the graveyard trying to come back from the dead.
Man, you threw some stuff in there, man. That was good. I was like, what? Oh man.
I tell you, man, you're gonna have that. You're gonna play that trillion game. You're gonna watch that anime trillion game. And you're gonna be like, James, you've been trying to get me on that Crunchyroll for years now. I'm hooked on that Crunchyroll.
Oh man.
Oh, I
But
think I can
yeah,
gift memberships. I'm gonna gift you a membership. That way you get you on there. So like, just watch this show. Just watch this one show. It's like
man,
I'm addicted to anime, man.
you
Son of a.
just making me hungry, man. Talking about a Crunchyroll. I'm hungry right now. Um, but yeah, man. I the one thing that I do need to do that. I need to track that. The one thing that I
Yes.
had this far is I know how many new clients I need every week and how many recurring that number. But
Yep.
yeah,
And you've got your tiers in place, your tier pricing in place.
hmm
And So what you want to do is think about it from a business aspect. You want to think about um, recurring revenue streams.
Mhm.
So thinking about, okay, this is like insurance for myself.
Right,
This is an
right,
actual,
right,
this,
right.
like you, what ultimately you want to have people think about the idea of this is like car insurance. Like I want this coming out every month. This is a subscription that is like car insurance. I want this. I need this for my car.
Gotcha.
And the more that people really understand that and they see the value of that and they say, hey, this is only $10 a month. I'm
Right.
paying $10 for coffee, you know? I'm gonna
Exactly.
have coffee. I need to have my refresh coaching. I
I
need to be
need that. This is
refreshed.
yes.
I need my refresh.com. I need my refresh.com. They did not accept my opening bid of $1, by the way.
Okay, okay.
They
Understandable.
didn't even they didn't even tell me what price. So if I
No,
find
that
out
was I'm pretty sure that was
insulting,
very insulting.
I
Bro, I didn't even know you did $1. I did not remember you saying
I
that.
don't think if I don't know if it was $1, but maybe I need to do a follow up. Say, hey, just curious, what is your asking price? Two
They
million
pro
dollar.
they probably won't even respond to you now if they know you with a
Well, you
dollar
know,
one.
I mean, hey, if you're not going to even entertain an offer, then you can just, ah, you know,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
a Patreon episode if you really want to get me going on
Oh
a
man.
sidebar rant.
Oh my goodness, bro. That's hilarious. $1 for oh my gosh, no, they bought that up for a reason. But again, I was glad and grateful to get refreshplanning.com and therefreshcoach.com. I really
Mhm.
like the refreshcoach.com. I think that's got a nice
Your alter
that
ego could be Coach Refresh.
yeah, coach yeah. Coach Refresh sound like he from the hood. Coach
Oh,
Coach
no.
Refresh.
Well, I mean, you could make him
That is
from
the
the hood.
alter
I mean,
ego.
I mean, you've been the characters, so you could be
Yeah.
Coach Refresh.
Coach Refresh.
Man, you could do this. You could that could be an interesting reel
That
on
really good.
Instagram. That could be
I'm
very
right.
visual. You know, just break it out. I'm Coach Refresh
I'm Coach Refresh.
because you need a refresh.
You the refresh? Oh man. No, that's good there. That's a good bit. That'd be a good bit, man. Coach Refresh. It just gives a whole different ring to it, man. That's hilarious. Coach Refresh.
Uh, on the
Oh
Patreon
man.
today, we're gonna have Coach Refresh.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
you need to get your out of your butt and then oh, oh my gosh.
Right.
Coach
I'm talking to
Refresh tells it
you.
like it.
You.
And I want you.
Oh man, that's funny. Wow.
But
So
ultimately, too, what you want to think about as your business starts to go is okay, we always think about working capital cycle, accounts payable, accounts receivable, and the time gap in between. If you got a
yeah.
COD type situation, you're not really worrying about the working capital cycle. But most people have this scenario where you start getting in receivables and there's a time gap between when you receive it and the people that you have to pay out the payable. So understand that that gap exists. That's when you need to build up your reserves through your retained earnings to act as
Right.
your line of credit to be able to fill the gap.
Okay. Okay. I
And
see
then if
that.
not, you take your traditional financing or alternate financing through private lending. And so these things or what I talk about and I know about through experience from the banking side of things, through credit underwriting, debt service coverage, cash flow coverage, et cetera, et cetera. And these are the things that are really not taught in school, especially
Right.
debt service coverage and cash flow coverage. But it's something that ultimately, once you understand this is very important even to banks, your statement of cash flows, how the cash is flowing in and out of your company, in and out of your personal life, especially when we do a global cash flow. Again, these are just markers in time, but it will help the user understand, like, okay, this is what a bank is looking at. This is the ratio that they're looking at. How can I make sure that I'm exceeding this benchmark, or at least at a bare minimum, being able to go into a bank and say, hey, I'd like to get a line of credit, or hey, I'd like to get a loan, and then kind of go from
Gotcha. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, man. Um, yeah, I follow you. I follow you on that.
yeah,
I think one good thing with with our model right now is because it's not a whole lot of money, um, folks pay up front for everything. I can see possibly with certification, things like that,
yep,
that would be more
yep,
over time. They may pay
yep,
that in installments, so
right,
but
right.
for the most part, coaching with classes is up front. But yeah, I am trying to build up that a goal of mine, I guess you could say, is 6 months, maybe even three, but like for the next 6 months, just kind of showing that steady cash flow. So, and if I and if it's growing everything over the next, no, when it does that, I think I will be able to build up reserves. But in 6 months, I also will have the ability if I do need to, go to a bank or, we're trying to expand or something, I
Two
can have
years,
enough to show.
two
You say
years,
what? Two
2 years.
years? 2 years.
2 years. Yep.
Okay.
At least a minimum of 2 years. And when we get to that point where you're wanting to really do that, just talk to me and
Hmm.
we can either Patreon it or just completely offline it. And I'll walk you through what most
Gotcha.
banks, credit unions look for as far as that. And
Gotcha.
you know, it
Yeah.
is what it is. We'll figure it out.
Right, 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 right.
So I'm gonna tell you somebody that's really made a physical transformation for the good. Blake.
Mm.
You know, you hadn't heard that name in a while.
Well, you mentioned it to me, brought him up recently, but I don't remember exactly what it was for. But yeah, tell me.
Well, he has quit smoking, changed his diet, and he's down to like 280, 290. But he looks good. I mean, looks physically really good.
Wow.
And we did a conversation, I think last one or a couple ones back, and the good thing about this is you can physically see people over time, and you can see the physical difference between him then and him now. And he is now an IT director with a company,
Mhm.
and just his evolution into the version of him that he is now, known him for at least a decade, is amazing. It's amazing to see how much he's changed and transformed. And I'm beginning to wonder, as my mind often does, if maybe refresh could be applicable to him and in
Mhm.
essence the people underneath him, his team.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think I might have to ask you for a finder's fee, sir.
Well, if they come on board, definitely.
I, I think I really genuinely just have some prospects I can throw your way.
Yeah, because actually it's interesting you say that, man, because um we are we're trying to work with more businesses, more offices because
Mm-hmm.
I mean clearly there's a benefit and I come across these issues, these folks saying that working especially um folks that deal a lot with like customer service, and
Hmm.
they don't necessarily have a set schedule. A lot
Right.
of them, they're bogged down, they're stressed, there's a lot to those jobs. And so yeah, we're trying to definitely get in and work with them on, and what we're gonna do, what we will do is just increase overall office productivity. So we got a presentation that we can do, but we also can customize. And then I'm rolling it. I'm handing this out to you because I'm thinking through it, and you may, just have feedback or anything. But so we've got a presentation that we would do for an office, but then we would be able to offer the one-on-one coaching, at a for a discount too, because as a
Right.
package if they wanted something like
Right.
that, so they could have that for their.
So as a coach, you actually have, and again, if it's insulting, I don't mean to insult you. Sometimes I do.
Mhm.
Uh, as a coach, you have a playbook that they have to run. They have to play it exactly to a T, like a franchisee, kind of. Yeah. Like material
Uh,
that they have to, let's say you can't do it, but you have like, hey, this is my coach, Nathaniel.
right.
Nathaniel's going to be your coach assigned to you. And so,
Mhm.
Nathaniel comes in. So he has, yeah,
Yes. So when we remember when we get to that point, which I
yeah,
think we're nearing quicker than I thought.
yeah.
Yes. Any
Cool,
coach certified under Refresh Refocus Rebuild,
cool.
they had the same playbook, and they would have shadowed, trained. They'll
Yeah,
be able to produce the same product,
gotcha.
just with the,
So
yeah,
from a protection standpoint, you've created some form of
policy.
policy, commercial insurance policy, something that protects you and the entity from people from bad actors, what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. So, of course, because right now we're still getting started, we don't have as much that we will one day have in place because we haven't had I guess, the necessity for it. But I mean, of course, we're still operating under the LLC, so we're protected from that side of things. And then we have I guess, just policy as far as, um. Privacy policy things, that just
Yeah,
helping clients
yeah,
understand certain aspects of what we do.
right.
Um, so that's kind of the base protection, just that. Now, we also have disclaimers, we're not counselors,
Disclosures. Yeah,
psychologists,
yeah, that's good.
financial
Yeah,
advisors, and
cool.
I had
Yeah.
that disclaimer in the policy.
Man, you've really
Uh,
thought this out.
well, you know what it is, man. Two things. Like you talked about earlier, I've been at it so long.
Yeah.
All of this is stuff in all the other businesses that I did, and then God just gives me the wisdom, uh, brings it to mind. But like, this is just experience, at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Experience.com.
Yeah. Right.
Not a sponsor. See, I watch so much Are You Garbage, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna send you the Route 66 tour that because it's their hour-long special. I am such an addict of Are You Garbage and their Patreon numbers, but just the comedy in general that
Right.
I my mind just is like in this weird place where it just brings things in and just throws it out there. But yeah, no, not a sponsor. Don't say that. They're not a sponsor. Because I don't know how that works on the back end business side of it.
Yeah.
You seriously, if I could get you hooked on, I'm trying to grow the Army of Garbage Southern Division. Okay, I'm
Oh
trying. I
man.
am recruiting heavily. I am commenting heavily, trying to grow this division for the Army of Garbage. And Kippy and Foley, they don't care. I'm not even on their radar, but I'm commenting. I'm gonna send you the comments I send because I love them. I'm just an absolute fanboy of this guy. These are my guys. These are my guys.
Oh my goodness. Fanboy.
I
That's
am. I'm
yeah.
truly geeking out fanboy, and they'd probably be like, "Look at this crazy Asian. Look at this guy. Have you ever thought about going on comedy? I don't understand English. I don't understand what you say. Yeah, I'd love to be in comedy. You kidding me? But the Asian accent
Oh
bit only
man.
works for like so long, and it's semi-insulting. But I Asian. I speak Thai. Sawadee krap, kon sabai look chai. Don't think them ah. I see you taking notes over there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been taking notes this whole time. That's and we both know this with business, man. That's one of the and just success anything you want to be successful in, but especially with business, just have to constantly be open to ideas
Yes,
and
yes. That's what
just
makes Elon so fascinating to me
hmm
is that, I mean, obviously the guy has some very interesting genetics to, I would like to spend a day with Elon just to see how much, I mean, you hear myths and legends of how much he sleeps and how much he works, but it makes sense because he was involved with PayPal years ago. If he was grinding it out that hard back then it makes sense why he runs on such lower levels of sleep. And the human body can only take not having sleep for so long. So, but if you built up the muscles to endure it, I mean, he's a very unique human being. And with the Department of Government Efficiency, that is literally the initials of a meme coin that his supporters were like, "You've got to name it Doge." And I'm just like, wow, it's crazy that he would. I mean, everybody that is involved in the crypto space knows that DOGE is the initials for Doge, the meme coin. So yeah, it's just funny to me. Um, and the fact that they're making a move to taking a cryptocurrency as a strategic reserve is so fascinating. And I cannot believe that the United States of America does not have a sovereign wealth fund. Out of all the countries in the world, we don't have a sovereign wealth fund. We're the number one country in the world. We do not have a sovereign wealth fund. It's insane to me.
um, could you expound? I mean, I know what cyber means and wealth fund, so
Yeah,
what's
well,
the yeah.
if you Google it, um, Dubai, I believe, has a sovereign wealth fund. And what it is, it's basically a fund that is used for the country. And it's basically a way of, I'm glad you asked me that because I wanted to, because I Googled it when I heard, it's like, America's starting to think about doing a sovereign wealth fund. I'm like, okay, well, what is a sovereign wealth fund? It's a maximizing long-term return with foreign exchange reserves, short-serving short-term currency stabilization, liquidity management. So, what is the biggest sovereign wealth fund? Norway runs the largest globally, thanks to its vast oil and gas production in the North Seas, which generates 10% of the country's gross domestic product. In 2024, the fund earned a record 222 billion in profit, fueled by strong gains across the tech sector. So these wealth funds are ways for the country to have its own like investment.
Mhm.
So you've got, your business, employee, self-employed, and investment. It's an investment class basically. And it
Yeah.
basically it works to generate more money, which can get poured back into the country. And so we've created financial vehicles for a long time now. And the fact that the US of A doesn't have one, and there I saw an article where it's saying the USA doesn't need one. Well, again, when I see that, my mind automatically thinks this. You want to have it when you don't need it, because when you need it, it may be too late.
Mm.
So we may not need it. So why not have it? Because if we do need it, we've got it in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I mean, just like us individually financially, like
Yeah.
we should have something in place. Yeah. So that pretty much means, I mean, what has the United States then been resting on, or all this time, what have we
Repayments
been?
from others, repayments from
Okay,
others. With the
okay.
strong, with the strength of the dollar, basically what happens is they create, and this is completely being butchered by me because I do not understand this by no means. So anybody that goes and watches this and has any strong background in economies and trade and all this stuff, are probably going to be pissed at me, and that's okay because I'm not an expert, nor will I ever claim to be. But basically, if you notice, everything is tied to the dollar. It is the strongest currency in the world. So people will use bonds and things like that as instruments to say, because when we have debt, people that pay us, well, they're using the dollar. The dollar is what's kind of driving all of this. And that's why there's the concern of BRICS, the Brazilian, Russia, India, China. Can't remember what the S stands for. This other currency that's kind of coming into play. But the dollar's been strong for so long that other countries owe us debts. And so, if they're not strong enough to pay us back, then, we're not getting any money from anybody. So
Right.
what I've saw in the conversation at some point, what we've done is we've outsourced our abilities. And it's for the interest of being connected with the world and for cheaper costs and all those things. But we've done this so much that we no longer produce anything of our own. So what
Mm,
we need to do is we need to concentrate on producing things on our own, and then as a subset, go ahead and offer this to other countries. But it's time for America to make itself whole again,
hmm.
heal itself economically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and use the resources that we have. And to me, I don't understand why when I say America, what do you think of? What place physically?
When you say the United States,
You think of the United
yeah,
States, right?
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. As a continent, we're the Americas. You've got South
Hmm.
America, you got
Right.
Canada. Well, South America is made up of multiple countries. Why
Right.
in the world do we not have an America Union, just like the European Union? Why have we not gotten to the place where we have united these continents together? It's like Jill says the other day about this person's Indian or whatnot, something or other. I'm like, well, they're Asian. She's like, well, yeah, but I don't think of Indian as, but no, they're of the continent of Asia. They're Asian. You can
Hmm.
be Indian, but you're really Asian.
Right.
So you can be, you know, uh, Brazilian, but American
Yeah.
of the continent of America. So there should be one day an American Union where we've pulled in all the countries together as one. And that would be the greatest superpower ever because look at the resources that we'd have access to. We wouldn't need to outsource anything. We just go south or if necessary, go north. We don't
Yeah.
need to depend on
Yeah.
Asia. We don't have to depend
Because
upon the Middle East.
yeah, because when you say that, I think about Mexico. Mexico is really powerful, really. They've
Yeah.
had a lot of course, for in the news and things, a lot of corruption, just like anywhere else. I
Yeah,
think
anywhere
theirs
else.
has
Yeah.
probably just been more publicized at times. A lot of the things that's happened, but I mean, that in itself,
Yeah.
just you know,
If
yeah, man,
and so
shoot,
and even from a states aspect, Texas is the size of some countries, you know?
yeah,
So, I think America, the United States of America, North America, needs to focus on healing itself. And then over time, look at staying on its side of the world and expanding its presence to say, hey, do you want to come be a part of us and create the America Union?
yeah,
And just that way we have everything that we need already integrated. Some of the best and brightest thinkers come from North America. You don't need to outsource it to anywhere else. You just keep it all on this side of the world and build it from there. And then everybody is begging to come to America. So it creates the opportunity for tariffs, the opportunity for things that we don't no longer have to depend on them to pay us back. They're coming to wanting to do business with us.
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. We're sitting here doing a podcast in North America, one of the greatest countries in the world. Some countries,
Sure.
England, you can't do stuff like this. You're going to get a knock on your door if you're talking about certain things.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
In England?
in England, you
Oh,
look,
wow.
just research it, but there's social media crackdowns in certain countries in the world. I think England's one of them, where if you say certain things, you're going to get a knock on your door. So,
Wow.
yep. So, good places to visit. Love the history, love the food, but I'm glad I don't live there. Yeah, anything that I say that like really makes you go, huh? Really? Wow. Fact check me. It's fine. Because, information is so out there now, access to so much of it all the time that I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. Like, oops, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty certain about that one. Because I'm absorbing so much knowledge from everybody, listen to all these different podcasts and conversations.
Mhm.
So, ultimately at the end of the day, it's about refresh. It's about refocus. It's about staying in the process. It's about rebuilding our lives. It's about humanity, you know? I mean, hey, I'm
Right.
all about Refresh Coaching and Refresh Academy. I'm all fresh about refresh.com. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is it's time for everything to get a little easier. This is 2025. It feels like 2020 to me.
Oh man. That's funny, man. That's funny. Oh boy. But this was good though, man. This was
Yeah, this is one of those where you're going to be like, I think I want to go back and listen to this one. He went
yeah.
off on at least 22 different tangents. Wait, no, there's another one. That's 23 different tangents, but
But it was heavily anchored though by Refresh, so that gave it some structure.
yeah,
It
because
just
I'm
like
I'm using something that you're familiar with, it
exactly,
kind of like
yeah.
you're like, what are you saying? Refresh? Heck yeah. Yeah, Coach Refresh.
Go
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking to you. Oh man.
Oh, you're gonna leave me hanging.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking.
And when you go back and listen to it, you're gonna hear me say something, and then I say it twice, and you're gonna hear me say nothing on that. You'll see it. You'll see what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. Gotcha. That means it's happened a couple times then.
Yeah, yeah. It was a callback. It was callback heavy. It was.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. One thing, man. Your Auburn Tigers are doing really well, man. Have you
Man,
been
don't
keeping up
jinx
with
me,
it?
man. Don't jinx me, man.
Okay.
I'm trying to stay out of the loop because
Okay.
I know they're still the number one seed, right? Are they in the tournament? Has the
They
tournament
they sh
started?
No, it hasn't started. I think the announcement. I know the announcement. I think it might be Sunday for announcing the
The
brackets.
bracket.
I think they may have held on to number one. They lost. They lost the other night to South Carolina, I
Yeah,
think it
I
was.
saw
But South
that on
Carolina was still
Facebook.
a ranked team. They're still a
Right.
good team.
So, in
They.
your opinion, can they take it to all the way?
I think they can.
All right,
I
that's
think
how I'm going to
Auburn's
fill out
got.
my bracket. That's how I'm going to fill out my
I
bracket.
think Auburn's got what it takes as long as they
Stay healthy.
stay healthy. Yeah,
No
and
Cinderella teams. Man,
mm-hmm.
why'd you have to bring up basketball, man? Now you got my
I'm
now you got
sorry.
me
I'm
you got me
sorry.
you got me going. What?
Um,
Okay, all right, all right, all right, all right. I know we're getting towards the end of all this, but Luca to the Lakers, man.
oh man, look
Man,
that,
I may just start have to watching the Lakers again.
and
I
you know what's so
may.
funny? Yeah, I'm kind of the same persuasion, man. I haven't even been really watching basketball NBA at all, but that's probably the
special
most exciting thing that's happened to basketball the
in at least
last,
20 years.
yes, a long time, man. And
Such a controversial thing.
I was talking to my brother yesterday about because he keeps up with all that stuff. I
Yeah.
said, and he was telling me, he's like, man, the Lakers on a 9 game winning streak. I said, man, with Luca and LeBron, it sounds like they're Showtime Lakers again. My brother was like, that's exactly what they look like. They are the Showtime Lakers again.
Yeah. And
So,
again, without the same without those defensive rules in place, the hand
mm,
checking all without those things
yeah,
in place, man, it's just gonna be a high scoring games all the time.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I gotta tune in for them. I mean, both of them
Yeah, I'm
just
gonna go ahead and put that down right now.
they are what do you call it? Oh, what's the word? I'm looking for a word to describe just amazing, not amazing, but how they pass the ball and
Hmm.
share the ball.
Hmm.
Man, I can just imagine watching them play through pick
Yeah.
and rolls and stuff.
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Oh,
LeBron
they're
and
playing the
Luca.
Celtics today.
Oh, I gotta tune in. What
Okay,
time
I
is
got
that
it.
one?
It's seven
7.
thirty.
I'll put that
Okay,
on
I'm
my
gonna got it.
schedule here.
Okay. All right.
Yep,
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Well, that's a pound, my friend.
That's a pound. That's a pound, man.
I love you,
So
bro.
we'll be watching that game. All right, love you, bro. Catch you later, man.
All
Thanks. All
right.
right. Peace.
Bye. Peace.